Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one woman is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a house fire in Mount Sterling this past weekend. And we hear from Breonna Taylor's family after learning that one of the officers involved in her death has been fired.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. Today is Monday, June 22nd, a new start to the week, and we had some of those showers overnight, or at least I thought I heard them. Let's bring in Brandon Robinson, and I know that we're expecting maybe a little bit of showers today. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, Lacey. And you're right. You did hear a few showers overnight. We're still seeing a few this morning, and they'll be around for a little while today. And I think maybe in the heat of the day we pick up a couple more, but for the most part, dry today. For the most part. Now, again, I can't rule out because it's summertime in the mountains, and you know how that goes. Every day we have a chance of rain, but looking at temperatures this morning, fairly mild, 60s and 70s across the board this morning. Muggy, too. It's going to feel, you'll be able to feel the air when you walk outside. Air you can wear. 85 today is your forecast time. Again, back and forth chances for rain. I do think we see clouds this morning and then sunshine as we head toward late morning in the afternoon hours. But again, just keep that umbrella handy just in case one of those stray showers hits you. Rest of the forecast on the way here in just a little bit. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. And one woman in Mount Sterling is at the hospital with what officials call life-threatening injuries after a house fire early Sunday morning. Grace Feinerman has the details.
Firefighters working to get the flames under control.
When I pulled out of our station about 2 miles away, I could see the smoke column coming up then.
Still, Montgomery County Battalion Chief Jody Thomas says when the firefighters arrived, the house wasn't the biggest concern. Responders were worried about the woman in a wheelchair in her 60s who was trapped inside.
Firefighters attempted going through the front door and work their way and see if they could get to her from the backside, but the fire was too intense and it pushed them out.
Thomas says responders finally got the woman out a window and down a ladder. She was sent to UK Medical Center with life-threatening injuries. The other woman who was inside when the fire started escaped with what responders say were just superficial burns. Thomas shares the fire started around 10:15 a.m. A police officer driving by called to report it. Thomas says the fire likely started from a propane grill on the back deck. He emphasizes it took the effort of responders from multiple counties to help get the woman out.
The Winchester Fire Department, they sent an engine company and an ambulance over to assist in it. Now Sterling Police Department and Montgomery County Sheriff's Department as well. Like I say, there were numerous civilians here doing anything they could when we arrived on scene.
Showing in dire situations, many Kentuckians step up to do their part. In Mount Sterling, Grace Feinerman for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
And the woman who was rescued is currently at UK Medical Center. Like we said, with those life-threatening injuries, we do not have any more information on updates on her condition just yet. And later today, friends and family members will say their final goodbyes to Carol Barr, Congressman Andy Barr's wife. She died unexpectedly last week at the age of 39 due to a heart issue. Her funeral will be streamed online at 11 from Southland Christian Church. The family is asking that any potential donations go to the American Heart Association. And U.S. Senate candidate Charles Booker is holding 2 rallies here in the Commonwealth later today ahead of tomorrow's Democratic primary. The Louisville representative has been a surge in the weeks leading up to the primary as he looks to challenge Senator McConnell in the fall. He will host rallies in Hazard at City Hall starting at 9:30 this morning and a second rally in Pikeville at the City Park around 12:30 in the afternoon. And more protesters in Kentucky say weeks of work are making a difference. We're now hearing from Breonna Taylor's family after learning about Brett Hankinson's termination. He's one of the officers who was involved in Taylor's death back in March, who the acting chief of the LMPD says blindly fired 10 rounds into a patio door and window. Her cousin says the first step is promising, but they're asking for more.
They're working on justice. They're working on it. We just need the other two. And then we got to work on the world coming together as one and working on the officers as basically retraining the officers, better justice.
Every time someone is killed, someone has to be punished, and To shoot blindly into a house is just, it's ridiculous.
The family's legal team is asking prosecutors to charge all 3 officers that are involved. And as protests over the shooting of Breonna Taylor continue 3 months after her death, one group is pushing for a permanent memorial for Taylor. With the help of Biker Brigade, Tamika Palmer, Game Changers, and Mayor Fisher have been working to turn a makeshift memorial for Taylor in the center of Jefferson Square Park into a permanent one.
We want the effort kind of driven home to the public about how we want to create this space as Breonna Taylor Fountain Circle. Simple as that.
So we want to bring something positive and come and create this movement. I mean, we want to be part of it.
Each biker donated money in cash at the end of the ride. They gave Tamika Palmer more than $1,800. Community members, pastors, and leaders came together in Georgetown on Saturday, pushing for change in their community. Prayer and unity were the 2 focuses in Georgetown, with people gathered together to honor the lives lost to police brutality. Kiana Fields, who organized the gathering, points out that those are big cases, but racial injustice can come in many different forms.
We haven't necessarily reached the levels of police brutality, but that doesn't mean that biases don't still exist within our school systems, don't still exist within the hiring practices of the city, within the policy.
Organizers say that they understand this kind of change does take more than one day, but they hope they started a conversation within Georgetown. And for about 1 month now, protesters have been out in downtown Lexington nearly every night, protesting against police brutality and asking for more police accountability. Part of these protests have been at the police station as a way of showing that they are not backing down. But on Sunday morning, there was an entirely different group gathered at the station in support of those who work there.
Just to make sure that the guys and the girls that are still working here know that people care about them and support them, and because it's a tough time. This is when morale gets challenged the most in a police department.
Supporters say that they threw together this rally last minute just to be a support system for officers. There were no counter protesters. And in times like these, a smile can go a long way. A dad-daughter duo in Kentucky is starting a movement with one smile at a time. Kate Springer has a heartwarming story.
Moo, you're my brown-eyed girl.
Maddie Ray loves to dance.
Get a peanut.
She loves her family. And while she can't tell you herself, her smile says it all.
The beauty of her smile and want to share it with the world.
Maddie has Down syndrome and is nonverbal, but it doesn't take much for her to communicate. When nothing else seems clear, it's Maddie's face lighting up that provides clarity for her dad, Michael.
When I always needed to be uplifted, I always had one constant thing in my life, and that was her.
He wondered if Maddie's grin could do that for him. What could it do for others?
What can we do now to take how she has changed my life to impact the lives of strangers?
Smile Project Louisville started with a photo in a Wendy's drive-thru in the spring of 2018.
I said I would love to take a picture to remember us smiling together in this moment, to say, thank you to us.
Hey guys, look, dynamic duo here today.
Never knowing a moment would become a movement.
This little platform that I created, really just to create change in my life and within our community, and I often say we live in a very special community in Louisville, has resonated well beyond the city of Louisville.
Are you ready to go surprise Anita? Let's go.
Now he travels around the area with Maddie, spreading hope and happiness, something that costs nothing, but the payoff is huge. Smile after smile, story after story. At first taking pictures of strangers throughout the city, and now granting random acts of kindness.
People started nominating people and would be like, telling the story of why somebody needed a smile.
I'm going to socially distance these balloons to you.
That takes a little creativity these days.
We've used 10-foot poles, and I put giant plastic over me to hug it out with people.
Each one a chance to change someone's day, someone's life.
We're going through some crazy times, whether it's a pandemic and all the stuff recently, with race relations, is that if you lead with love and you find love in your heart, you have the ability then to go around and smile at complete strangers.
It's real, man.
He recently took his message to 28th and Broadway outside the looted, boarded up Kroger, an act of kindness that tripled right in front of his eyes.
It happened to be James, and it's an amazing moment.
We have $100 for you to go into Kroger's and shop.
It's that kind of moment he hopes to continue spreading with Maddie by his side.
I tell people we smile because life is hard, not easy.
Dad and daughter using a special smile to spread a message. No words necessary.
Be the reason someone smiles today, and I say, hey, give him a kiss, blow him a kiss.
Just ahead on Mountain News this morning, a petition to rename the city of Columbus, Ohio, has thousands of signatures. We'll tell you why.
Hazy, hot, and humid conditions continue today, but a cold front is going to cool us down the next couple of days. I'll track it for you in about 3 minutes.